So welcome to this week's session. This week we're going to be talking about heroes, which I love talking about. We have some really great heroes within the yellow range. And what heroes do is they help us to extend our range. So they're things that we can add into our colours to make from a permanent into a demi-permanent. There are things that we can add in there to protect the hair, like a Bond hero. We can eliminate any unwanted tones with our silvers. So I'm going to take you through these. It won't be a long session today, but just to allow you to really understand and feel confident to play with these hero products. Okay, so first of all, I am going to share my screen and I'm just going to take you through this. Oops, I'm at the very wrong one. You get a sneak peek of everything we're going to be talking about. Okay, so these are the 4 products that I'm going to be focusing on today. And as I said, for me, these are range extenders. There are things that are going to make our lives so much easier when we're in the salon. So first of all, this protective oil. Then we're going to be talking about Bond Hero, Tone and Tone Creator, and Silver Pigments. So first of all, I am going to be talking about protective oil. Now, what I love about protective oil, it was one of those unexpected products for me. I knew we had it, but I didn't try it straight away. And when I tried the product, I was like, wow, this is incredible. So this is argan oil essentially, and with some other great little additives in there. But what this does, it forms a protective barrier on your scalp. So if you have a client that tends to want to take the comb off you and kind of has an itchy scalp, she's not allergic. I don't mean it protects from reactions like that. It's just more an irritation. If you have that type of client that feels like they're always a bit itchy, but then it's not anything really harsh, this is fantastic because you can pop this straight onto your scalp. You can pop it into the colour or into your bleach as well. So whichever one is the better application. For instance, myself, I just get like a little bit irritated in the nape of my neck. And I tend to just scratch around there and make myself sorer than what I actually am. So this is brilliant. I just pop this onto the nape of my neck and it just forms this protective barrier. Now you don't need to worry about this blocking your colour. Absolutely nothing to worry about at all. Your colour will still perform as it would have done before. So please you don't have to alter your peroxides, you don't have to change your consistency or anything like that. You just pop it onto the scalp and then you forget about it. As I said, you could also put it into your colour as well. So there's a couple of different ways of being able to do this. For your scalp bleaches, this is an absolute hero. Because what this does, it just, first of all, I love the way it makes the consistency of the bleach just so much more gel, and it's just a nicer application. It really does transform the mixture. But for people that are having scalp bleaches, global applications, we know that can be quite irritating, and it can be, I wouldn't say harsh, but it's on the side of like, yeah, it is getting a little bit harsh for the scalp. This is a fantastic product to pop into your bleach as well as on the scalp. We talk about protecting the hair. So this is another thing that I love about this, is that protective oil actually protects the uncoloured hair as well. So think about when using a plex, and we'll talk about yellow's plex in a little bit. When you talk about a plex, it's about rebuilding those bridges, those keratin bonds that have been broken down because of damage. Whereas you can use this to protect the natural hair. So the natural hair hasn't had any keratin bonds broken down because it's already still intact, whereas this can really help to protect the hair structure. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I am going to stop sharing now. Oops, hold on. stop share. There we go. Okay, so this is the protective oil. I'm going to go inside the box. It's normally fuller than this, but obviously I've been using them. This is your protective oil in here, and as you can see, that this is just gorgeous. You get a little pipette, you want to call it. This bit's quite squeezy, so you can kind of squeeze that along. So as I said, in the nape of my neck, I just tend to sort of like apply that just into those areas there. And this is obviously an add-on service, so you should be charging for this as well in your salon. Okay, so that's protective oil. And that's what that looks like. You get 6 in this, and we tend to say one application is 1 vial of those. So you would pop that whole vial into 60 ml of colour. If you're using 120 ml of colour, you would put 2 in there. Okay, so 60 ml of colour per one of those. Okay, the next one that I'm going to be talking about is tone on tone creators. So if you've seen any of my sessions before, you know that I love to talk about this one. Okay, let me see if I can put a bit more light on here. I've not got great lighting today. So if I give this a bit of a shake, oh yeah, you can see that now. You can see all the amazing crystals that are going around. So what this product does, this turns any of your permanent colours in the yellow range into a demi-permanent. So a demi-permanent would sit in the cuticle and then just slightly into the cortex. Why would we use this? So let's say we have done a permanent colour at the root, and then we want to refresh the mid-lengths and ends. This is the perfect one there, because if we just put permanent colour continually throughout the mid-lengths and ends, what we're going to find is that the hair becomes over pigmented, it becomes really dull, it just doesn't have that kind of shine and beautiful condition that we know we can get from using a demi-permanent. When the hair's already been coloured, we just need to refresh that colour. It's not about having to lodge those permanent molecules back into the hair again. It just needs a refresh, and that's what this one can do. It's brilliant for if you've done a global application of bleach like we've just talked about. You can put this through the mid-lengths and ends, and then you can make that into a toner as well. You can use this if you've been doing a keratin treatment, because then it makes our permanent colour into a non-oxidizing colour. You can use this to refresh natural hair. You can do this if you've got the first signs of white hairs and you just want to cover those up, but you're not quite ready for a permanent colour as a client. You're wanting just to disguise those white hairs. You can get really good white hair blending with tone on tone creator. Now, the difference between permanent white hair coverage and white hair blending is very different. So white hair blending, you won't get a demarcation line when your colour grows out. So as your colour grows out, you get that straight line, which we call a demarcation line with a permanent colour. What happens with a demi, with white hair blending, you get a diffused regrowth line. Now, I feel that this is kind of quite a modern way of colouring hair as well. You will find that not a lot of clients, they're not bothered about their white hairs, they just want them disguising a little bit. And that's what blending is. It disguises it, it doesn't cover it. If you are looking to get one colour all over, then you need to use your permanent colour. If you are looking to get more of a natural soft blend, that's where your tone on tone creator can help you out there. So it's a really great product for many different uses. I'm going to share my screen again and go through how it does it. Okay, so as I said, it's an additive that we can add in there into our colours. We can use it for toning bleached hair over highlights, to recover a colour after smoothing service, white hairs, as I said, refreshing colours, and adding tones to natural hairs. So how does it do that? It's all about lowering the pH of the permanent colour. So when you think about, we've got a permanent colour which ranges in between, depending on which colour it is, in between a 7 and a 9. So we need to lower that pH of the colour to allow that to be a demi-permanent. And basically this additive is what is allowing us to lower the pH of the colour, coupled with the lower peroxide as well. So we have 5-vol that we'll use for this, but I'll take you through that. Yellow crystals, they are a remineralizing, I really struggle with saying that, properties, and it helps to just give us really lots of lumosity and shine. So let's have a look at how we do it. So this is our mixing ratio. So to start off with, you put your colour into your bowl, then you put in your yellow tone on tone creator before you put the peroxide in. So that's really, really important. So when you think about this, your tone on tone creator needs to lower the pH, but it needs to lower the pH of the permanent colour. So you need to make sure you put your tone on tone creator into your bowl with your permanent colour, then mix that up before you put your 5-vol in. Okay, so that's really, really important. Permanent colour, then you pop in your tone on tone creator to lower the pH, then we put in our 5-vol. So let's talk about mixing ratios. So mixing ratios for this is for the tone on tone creators are 1 to 10. Okay, so 1 to 10. What does that mean? 1 to 10 means for every 10 ml of colour that you pop into your bowl, you put 1 ml of this in. Okay, so if you are putting 50 grams of colour into your bowl, you would put 5 ml of tone on tone creator. Okay, on your staff room poster, you all know I love my staff room poster. It is all on here and it's displayed on here. I've changed it on this one so you can see you've got your permanent colour, you mix it with your tone on tone creator, and then you mix with your 5-vol. So we've put in, and it is a 1 to 2 mixing ratio with your 5-vol. So let's say we've put in 50 grams of colour into our bowl, which means we're going to put 5 ml of our tone on tone creator. Don't count the tone on tone creator when you put in your peroxide in, because that's just changing the consistency and lowering the pH. We don't have to count that. So 50 grams of colour, mixing ratio 1 to 2. So that means then we would put 100 of peroxide in there, and that is all on here. Now let's say we have a client where her hair's a little bit porous. Maybe she's had a global application of bleach, and we know as soon as we put 10-1 on, for instance, that the hair's going to go and it's going to grab it really quickly. She's got a lot of hair as well. So what we can do is change the mixing ratio for this type of work, and we can mix that 10 to 2. So for every 10 ml of product of colour that you pop into your bowl, you put 2 pumps in. And what that will do is just lower the pH a little bit further, just to allow you to have more time. So she's got a lot of hair, we know it's super porous, we know it's going to grab really quickly, it's going to go after those tones. What you can do is pop in 10 to 2, and that will just lower the pH a little bit further, give you more working time. Now, because we've just lowered the pH a little bit further and we've given it more working time, we also need to give it more timing as well. So we talk about this being 5 minutes of visual timing for tone on tone creator. Really, if you're doing an application where it is somebody that is quite porous, we obviously say stay with them and watch that colour. Make sure that you are visually checking that as you go through. Make sure that you have put enough product on the hair as well and worked it all the way through the hair. Putting enough product on, if we're talking about white hair coverage, it's key to getting good white hair coverage. With tone on tone creator, making it into demi-permanent, applying enough product really does make a difference to the hair. Now, let's say we have done full head foils, and it's her first application of full head foils. So she's got natural hair running all in between her foils, and we don't want it. We want to tone it. We've got lifted it to a pale yellow, and let's say we want to apply 9-2. Just picked a colour. 9-2 onto the hair. We just want to sort of like have that kind of minky tone to it. So what we would do is we put our 9-2 into the bowl. Now, because she's got natural hair going through her highlights, we don't want to shift that base. So we don't want her natural base to be bumped, shift, whatever you call that. What you can do is you can add up to 10-5 is your mixing ratio. And by adding 5, it means that you won't bump that natural base. Okay, so for every 10 ml of product that you put into the bowl, you would put 5 ml of your tone on tone creator. And that was allow us just to stop any shift of the natural base. But again, remember, we've lowered the pH really low now. So it might take 20 minutes to tone that hair now, but again, it's a visual development time. So every time you lower the pH of the hair a little bit further, you've got to think that perhaps I just need to watch this, my timings are going to be a little bit longer on this. So I find that really helpful, that you have such a good range of color, of timing and mixing ratio that you can adapt for your hair colours depending on what you want to achieve. So 10-1 is our basic coverage. If I was going to be doing white hair blending with tone on tone creator, that's what I'd use. 10-2 for really porous hair, maybe a global application of bleach. And then not to shift the natural base, you can go up to 10-5. And still all mixed with 5-vol as well. So you don't use anything else apart from 5-vol when you are mixing, when you're trying to do a demi-permanent. Hope that kind of makes sense for you. I'm going to share my screen again because I've got some of the bits to show you. Okay. Okay, so has anybody got any questions on that before I move on? I didn't give you breath then to ask. No, that's good. Hopefully then I have explained it good enough for you. So Bond Hero. What's Bond Hero? So, super slides on this one as well. Bond Hero. This is Yellow's answer to a Plex. It strengthens the hair by up to 86%. It's super concentrated, and our mixing ratio for this is 1-6. This is the one that always gets me, this 1-6, and I will show you how to get around that in a minute. Our Bond Hero works externally and internally on the hair. So externally, we've got the cocoa butters that work on the lipid layer, which is the outside layer of the hair, which just helps to seal the cuticle and keep the cuticle, the hair really nice and supple. And then we have the almond protein, which has a low molecular weight, which goes into the cortex, and that does rebuild the bonds, strengthening the hair. So how do we do this? So let's come out of this. Of course, it's the staff room poster. So on the bottom of the staff room poster, we have this. I know you've probably seen this back to front, but it's a really great way of doing this. So Bond Hero, if you are putting in, I can't read it back to front, what's the on here? So for every 10 ml of Bond Hero is 60 ml of colour. So if you go in a 60 ml colour application, you would put 10 grams. So swap it round the other way. That's the way I do it with Bond Hero. I'm not a mathematician, I'll be really honest. I have to like get my fingers out and kind of work it. But on an average 60 ml application, you would put 10 ml because it's 10-6. I've changed it around, so 6-10. So that's how I kind of work it out. So if I was doing 30 ml, it would be 5. But it's on your staff room poster. Now, you can also pop this into your colour masks as well. So there is no part 2. with Bond Hero, you just pop it into your colour or into your bleaches, and then that's it, it's doing the work for you. So it's super easy, no downtime on this, no second part to it, just pop it in and you know that you are protected. Now you can pop this into masks as well, so you can do a strengthening mask. On the group, if you have a look in the files, I put together a treatment menu where you're able to sort of like see some different treatments that we do and how you can do a strengthening treatment. If you wanted to do a part 2, for instance, and your client wanted to, it was really highly porous and we wanted to extend this and give her a treatment, you can pop it into there as well. So it's a really good way of creating services within your salon using Bond Hero. So it's a really simple process. Nothing really to think about apart from your mixing ratios, which is the one that I probably struggle with the most. And that's what that looks like. So that comes in 100 ml bottle as well. Got a little pump on it. So one pump tends to be about 1 ml. But I always recommend that you measure your colours anyway. Okay, next hero is our silver pigments. Love this just because of the versatility of the product. It is super concentrated, and if you can see, it's got that amazing kind of purple sheen. Just spilling that all over it, that will go all over me in a minute. This purple tones in there, so it's great for eliminating unwanted tones. You can pop this into your colours, you can pop it into your masks. So if you wanted to make a tonal mask, you can pop it into your star treatments. You can pop it into everything. Your list keratin treatments. We know that keratin treatments tend to shift the natural base, because when you heat keratin, it makes the hair yellow. So you can pop that into your keratin treatments as well to stop the shifting. Now, mixing ratios on the Saffron poster, clearly. I actually laugh at myself at how much I rely on this Saffron poster. So on this Saffron poster, you can see all the different mixing ratios and products that you can pop it into. It's a 10:1 mixing ratio when you put that into a mask. Now I adapt this. I like my hair to be quite ashy, so you just be aware that it's a standard 10:1. However, you can go a lot further than that. I tend to do 10:3, and it's don't forget, it's going into a mask, so it's tonal, so you can play around with that a little bit. For colour, this is a little bit different for your colour. 60 grams of colour, so an average 60 grams of colour, you would do 8. So that one's a little bit different. So 8 pumps for every 60 grams of colour. This one, I do need to work this out on my fingers. But for every 60 ml of colour, 60 grams of colour, you would put 8 grams of your silver pigments in there. And that's really to enhance. Let's say you've got a client that is super golden and she hates all of those golden tones, or even on dark hair, where she just doesn't want to see any warmth in the hair, you can use it for there. What I like about it, it's a purple. So with if you're using ashes, you're going to get a slightly different result to a purple. So think about it as a purple additive, silver purple, that you can add into your colours. You can add it into shampoos as well. So if you wanted, say your client's got really porous hair and she needs a repairing shampoo and conditioner, but she also wants to have that silver, you could add the silver pigments into her shampoo and make it into a silver shampoo. So you can bespoke the services as well, which I really like. And then you can put it into your list. So into your list would be, for every 150 grams of your smoothing treatment, you put 15 of that, so it's 15 pumps. Now, with our list keratin smoothing treatment, it's a foam, and what I recommend to do is to keep a bottle and then just untwist it and have one where you use purple pigments in there, the silver pigments, and that just allows you to have, you not using all of it in your foam. I hope that kind of makes sense. So last ones and I will let you go and enjoy your Monday, is the star treatments. Officially, these are not actually in our heroes, but I've kind of made them a hero because I think they should be. We have 2 different treatments. This one, which I love, which is great for blondes, it just really brightens up blondes, makes them really refresh. It helps to rebuild the fibre of the hair. It has pearl powders, it has aloe tricks and argan oil in there. So it's super conditioning for the hair. You just sprinkle it onto the hair and that's it. There's no downtime. You don't have to rinse it out. It's a leave-in product. The pink one is leave-in. And it just makes the hair feel really amazing and the blondes super bright. I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. I've been using these, as you can see, and they're just like, you can see, they're just like a nice liquid, and they're just so easy to apply. Comb through, forget it. Clients had a conditioning treatment. Everybody's had no downtime. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The next one is the rinse out one, which is the blue one. Now, I know you know this, but you can make a whip with this one. So if you've got a client that's wanting to have more of a tonal treatment, what you can do is pop this whole vial into a bowl, fill this vial up with water, pop that into the bowl, then pop in your silver pigments. I tend to do about 3 pumps in this, but I know people do more, so it depends how much tone you want to deposit in there. And then what you do is you just whip it up like you're mixing a cake or a Yorkshire pudding. You just whip it up, and within a minute you're going to have this amazing, beautiful foam. It's great theatre for your client because you can stand there and make her a bespoke toner, depending on how much tone you want to deposit. And you just get this amazing kind of thick, gorgeous purple foam. Pop it all over the hair. Again, depending on how much tone you want to deposit in the hair, 5 minutes plus. And you've got a really gorgeous tonal treatment. I know that people are using the silver whip after doing highlights or after doing global applications of bleach, and not using a demi-permanent. They're using this because it might be that you've got to a really beautiful pale yellow where you just need to bump that little bit of pale yellow, whereas this would really help to sort of do that. And it's a condition treatment. The hair feels amazing as well. Obviously, both of those treatments are chargeable treatments and they're additional services. You can also, for this one, both of them speed up drying time as well, which again is another godsend for us in the salon. So it just makes your blow dry really easy. Now you don't have to mix this with silver pigments. You could just do this as a standalone treatment. So it depends what you want out of it. Maybe that she's got bright red hair and that she just needs a nice conditioning treatment. I tend to say, well, these ones are for, because it's an oil base, it's for thicker, coarser type of hair, whereas the pink leave-in one was more for finer hair. So it depends what type of hair that you're treating. Okay, so that is our heroes in a nutshell. We have talked about protective oil, which helps to protect the scalp and also protect the natural hair. We have talked about tone on tone creator, which turns our permanents into a demi-permanent. Don't know if I did mention this, but I just want to make sure that everybody's aware, is that you can change any of our colours into a demi-permanent apart from the Energy series. The Energy series has that higher ammonia content, and we're just not going to knock that down enough. So anything from a 10 and below, you can use as a demi-permanent. We talked about Bond Hero, which is our version of our Plex, which helps to strengthen the hair by 86% with the almond proteins and the cocoa butter. And then finally, we talked about our silver pigments, which is a great product that is going to allow us to add that into many different things, from treatments, from lists, from lots and lots of different ranges that you can do. So that's why we believe those products are our hero products. And then finally, I just snuck in the star treatments because I love them, and I think they're a great addition to the range and just super quick. And you know, you can make a whip, you can leave it on as a condition treatment, and it's only going to be on the hair for a few minutes. So that's us. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that I've answered some of your questions, and if you need any other help or anything, you can just ask. Has anybody got any questions, or are you all good? Amazing. Okay, so thank you very much. Thanks, Christina. Thank you for everybody. Next week is bank holiday, so we don't have any chat after that, but the week after that is a 6:30 one where I'm going to go through the basics of the range, but that's for new people that have not heard all the rest of my chats before. So thanks, guys, for joining again. I appreciate your loyalty and turning up on a Monday. Thank you. Have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye.